Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2022-2023, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 76 years of independence, India's G20 presidency, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030. As part of awareness and campaigns, World Health Organization 75th anniversary, in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our commemorations for the day, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today, we are commemorating World Migratory Bird Day. Every year, March 13th and October 14th is commemorated and celebrated as World Migratory Bird Day. This year, the theme for 2023 is Water, Sustaining Bird Life. Through the activities being undertaken on 3 flyways, America's Flyway, African Eurasian Flyway, East Asian Australasian Flyway, and the resulting exchange of information, World Migratory Birds Day wishes to increase the level of awareness about the threats, both general and specific, that birds are facing by comparing their experiences and concerns, sharing their stories and activities. People around the world will make their voices and actions reach out even further. Throughout the flyways, underlying the fact that bird conservation is indeed a global issue. World Migratory Bird Day is officially celebrated on the second Saturday of May in the Canada and US, and May 13th in 2023, which was celebrated across the world, including by us, and the second Saturday of October in Mexico, Central and Southern America, and the Caribbean, October 14th in 2020. That is today. However, every day is a bird day, and you can celebrate birds and host events any day of the year. So today, we are also commemorating second time in the year, World Migratory Bird Day. Now, this year the theme is water, right? Water and its importance to migratory birds is the focus of this year's World Migratory Bird Day, a global campaign that aims to raise awareness of the migratory birds and the need for international cooperation to conserve them. Activities to mark the day will be held globally on 2 peak days in both May and October under the theme Water, Sustaining Bird Life. Water is not essential just for the birds, but for everyone. Water is crucial for the survival, for the civilizations to thrive and survive. Water is fundamental to sustaining life on our planet, and migratory birds rely on water and associated habitats like lakes, rivers, streams, ponds, swamps, marshes, coastal wetlands for breeding, resting, refueling during migration and wintering. Yet, increasing human demand for water, along with climate change, pollution, and other factors, are threatening these precious aquatic ecosystems. Global headlines are sounding alarm. 35% of the world's wetlands critical to the migratory birds have been lost in the last 50 years. Utah's Great Salt Lake, the largest saltwater lake in the Western Hemisphere, used by more than 1 million shorebirds, in a danger of disappearing within 5 years. Climate change is depleting natural water systems, depriving migratory birds of vital stopover sites around the world. These sobering statistics go hand in hand with recent reports that reveal 48% of the bird species worldwide are undergoing population declines. The campaign is a joint effort of the Convention on the Conservation of Migratory Bird Species of Wild Animals, in short known as CMS, and the African Eurasian Migratory Waterbird Agreement, AEWA in short, and Environment for the Americas and the EAAFP. The addition of EAAFP to this partnership will strengthen engagement and awareness for migratory birds in East Asian, Australasian flyway. This year's campaign highlights the importance of water to bird life, where we can follow some simple steps that everyone can take to preserve water and protect birds. Art has always been central to World Migratory Bird Day and continues to be a key element in 2023. As we develop the World Migratory Bird Day theme for 2023, we are exploring artists who can help us to share, the importance of these essential resources for the birds. So any artist, if you are interested in being considered for the artist, so you can contact official World Migratory Bird Day theme so that you can also, your artwork, if found appropriate, can be recognized. Virtually, as water is fundamental to sustaining life on the planet, all migratory birds rely on water and its associated habitats at some point during their life cycles. As we have seen, lakes, rivers, streams, ponds, wetlands, and coastal waters are all vital for feeding, drinking, or nesting, and as places to rest and refuel during long seasonal migrations. Unfortunately, these aquatic ecosystems are becoming increasingly threatened around the world, and so are the migratory birds that depend on them. The increasing human demand for water, as well as the pollution and climate change, is having a direct impact on the quantity and quality of water resources and on the conservation status of many migratory bird species. In 2023, the importance of water is the focus of World Migratory Bird Day, an annual global campaign that celebrates the migration of birds across countries and continents. Throughout the year, we'll spread the message that water sustains bird life and provide actions for managing water resources and protecting healthy aquatic ecosystems. Ten bird species have been selected to serve as ambassadors and help tell the story of some importance of water to birds, representing not only the diversity of birds, but also the variety of ways in which birds depend on healthy aquatic systems. Northern shoveler and American white pelican reminds us that many species need wetlands and open water for migration, wintering, and breeding. Some birds require specific types of water habitats, such as salty lakes that Wilson's Flaro uses during migration and winter. The swampy woodlands favored by northern water rush or the shaded streams along which the yellow-billed cuckoo nests. Water is essential for survival of insects pursued by barn swallow, the growth of nectar-producing plants frequented by the rufous hummingbird, and the health of grasslands inhibited by the dickcissel and the Magellanic penguin represent the oceans that make up 97% of all water on it. Finally, the osprey serves as a conservation success story, reminding us that bird population declines can be reversed when we work together to conserve and protect our planet. So we will look into these details later on. We will briefly go through these three airways, flyways, which are very crucial to know what are these migratory paths and from where the birds, which birds are migrating to which place. Birds that migrate through African Eurasian flyway can be divided into three main groups: water birds, land birds, and birds of prey, raptors. Throughout their migration, these birds are facing various threats, from habitat loss to illegal killing, most of them being anthropogenic, such as pollution. Conserving migrant birds is a global challenge that is addressed by the Convention on the Conservation of Migratory Species of Wild Animals, in short known as CMS, an environmental treaty under the aegis of UN Environment. CMS brings together countries and the wider international conservation community to achieve coordinated conservation and management of migratory animals, amongst other birds, throughout their entire distribution ranges. To promote migratory bird conservation effectively, there are three instruments within the CMS family. that relate to the three groups of birds and that address the specific threats that vary somewhat for each taxonomy groups. Water birds are species ecologically dependent on wetlands for at least part of their annual cycle, including many species of divers, grebes, pelicans, cormorants, heron, storks, rails, ibises, spoonbills, flamingos, ducks, swans, geese, cranes, shorebirds, gulls, terns, tropic birds, auks, frigate birds, even the African penguin. The electrocution by power lines, some soaring watchbirds such as storks concentrate during sea crossing at the bottleneck areas such as the Strait of Gibraltar and Bosphorus, etc. So the agreement on the conservation of animal Eurasian migratory water birds, AEWA, is an independent intergovernmental treaty dedicated to the conservation of migratory birds and their habitats across 119 range states in Africa, Europe and the Middle East, Central Asia, Greenland, and the Canadian archipelago. All the 255 AEWS species cross international boundaries during their migrations and require good quality habitat for breeding as well as a network of suitable sites to support their annual journeys. International cooperation across the entire migratory range is therefore essential for the conservation and management of migratory waterbird populations and the habitats on which they depend. Action plans for endangered species are one of the main tools to ensure the future of these species. Birds of prey, commonly called as raptors, include groups such as vultures, eagles, hawks, and falcons. These predatory species are the top of the food chain and act as sentinel species to indicate the levels of prey populations and indeed the overall health of the ecosystem. Many species are at high risk of human-induced threats such as habitat loss and degradation, illegal shooting and poisoning, and collisions with man-made structures and electrocution by power lines. Many migratory raptors are particularly at risk during migration because they gather to form major concentrations and move in large groups along their flyways. For example, at narrow bridges or sea crossings, which can increase the potential impact of certain threats. The CMS Memorandum of Understanding on the Conservation of Migratory Birds of Prey in Africa and Eurasia, the Raptors MOU, aims to promote internationally coordinated actions to achieve and maintain the favorable conservation status of migratory birds of prey throughout their range in the African Eurasian region and to reverse their decline when and where appropriate. The Raptors MOU covers 93 species of birds of prey and owls occurring in 132 range states in Africa, Europe, and Asia. Landbirds include common and familiar species that breed in Europe and Asia and undertake long migration to wintering areas in Africa. Species such as the common cuckoo, the turtle dove, swallows, and songbirds are included in this group. Long-term data sets show that African Eurasian landbirds are declining rapidly. The species that breed on agriculture and farm land areas have to cross the Sahara to winter in open savannas are most affected, as their complex annual cycle, long-distance migrations, and dependence on different sites at different times expose them to multiple threats. Migrant birds are likely to be more susceptible to environment. Experts consider that changing land use driven by rapid demographic expansion in Africa is the most important factor affecting African Eurasian landbirds across the breeding and non-breeding grounds. Landbirds do not generally concentrate together, but disperse in suitable habitats, which makes their conservation even more challenging. Hence, a broad landscape approach is needed for their conservation. Unsustainable taking and climate change are the additional threats. Since intergovernmental cooperation is essential to conserve migratory landbirds effectively along their flyways. Since intergovernmental cooperation is essential to conserve the migratory birds effectively along their flyways, the CMS parties have adopted an African Eurasian Migratory Landbirds Action Plan and established a working group that, to that effect, the action plan covers 34 globally threatened species. The AEM-LAP complements the work of AEWA and the CMS Raptors MOU to maintain the African Eurasian migratory bird species in a favorable conservation status. In fact, 35% of the world's wetlands have been lost in the last 50 years. And the recently published UN World Water Report estimates that over 2 billion people now don't have access to safe drinking water. It's not just water quality, it all risks. So water is essential to survival of migratory birds from breeding to resting and refueling during migration and wintering. Migratory birds rely on lakes, ponds, coastal wetlands, and even moisture found in seeds, flowers, and mist. But water is under threat. Climate change, pollution, and increasing huge demand It's not just water quality that's at risk, but it's also quantity. Lake Chad, a Ramsar site, is one of the largest water bodies in Africa. In 1960, lost 90% of its area, depleting water resources for local communities, also for many migratory birds. In the Armor Halong Basin in Asia, climate change is exacerbating habitat destruction, leaving migratory birds without crucial breeding. It's not just water quality that's at risk, but also the quantity. So the facts are alarming. 48% of this existing bird species worldwide are experiencing population declines. World Migratory Bird Day serves as a global call to action, with migratory birds crossing the borders of multiple countries. International Operation for World Migratory Bird Day serves as a global call to action. With migratory birds consist of borders of multiple countries, international cooperation is crucial for the effective conservation. Only by acting together, global water crisis can be addressed and shared birds be effectively conserved. So the campaign is organized by the Convention on the Conservation of Migratory Species of Wild Animals, the African Eurasian Migratory Waterbird Agreement, Environment for the Americas, and the East Asian Australian Flyway Partnership. And various events are organized across the world. On October 14, that is today, including an educational event along the Karian River in Mongolia, a bird conservation festival in Bangladesh, a festival in Guatemala, zoo events in Belize, and many more worldwide, even like us. As quoted, Convention on Migratory Species, CMS, water is essential for people as well as for migratory birds and other wild species or animals. Yet around the world, the availability of quality water is under enormous pressure with deeply concerning implications. The looming global water crisis requires urgent action by governments, business, local communities, as well as the individuals. Because the migratory birds cross national boundaries, borders, and even continents, international cooperation is essential to ensure that actions are taken to conserve and restore important habitats for migratory birds and address the drivers of water loss, pollution, and climate change. As quoted by Amy Frankel, Executive Secretary of the Convention of the Conservation of Migratory Species of Wild Animals. The water crisis highlighted by the UN 2023 Water Conference has a tremendous impact on migratory birds. In the Sahel, in particular, many wetlands on which migratory waterbirds rely during the non-breeding period are shrinking. Water is a vital resource for all local communities as well as birds. By reducing our consumption, combating climate change, and managing wetlands wisely, we can improve the situation, said Dr. IWSHHWBSD-2022-23, Executive Secretary of the Agreements on Conservation of African Eurasian Migratory Waterbirds. World Migratory Bird Day 2023 spotlights the vital role that water plays in the survival of our shade birds. The focal species illustrated on the campaign poster depict the intricate bond each bird shares with water. The diminutive rufous hummingbird thrives on nectar-producing flowers and rely on water for their blooms, and the duckcissel scores the grasslands for seeds that hold the moisture they need. White pelicans and ospreys seek their prey in freshwater lakes, while the magnificent wandering albatross and Atlantic puffin remain at sea. So World Migratory Birds Day is an opportunity to unify our voices for the conservation of migratory birds and to celebrate their spectacular journeys, said Dr. Susan Bonfield, Executive Director at the Environment for the Americas, in short known as EFT. Water is life. Protecting this precious resource for migratory birds can make difference between life and death for a whole species. Consider the amazing little spoon-billed sandpiper with a good global population estimated between 360 to 600. At 15 centimeters long, about the size of a sparrow, it travels back and forth across the length of Asia to feed, rest, and breed. Its small beak, shaped exactly like spoon, sifts through mud and sand in shallow water to gather the worms and shrimps it eats. Water quality determines the quality of this food. Pesticides, unsustainable agriculture, microplastics in their food chain are unhealthy for both them and us. So let's protect our water. To protect us all, said Jennifer George, Chief Executive at the East Asian Australasian Flyway Partnership. The Convention on the Conservation of Migratory Species of Wild Animals, CMS, a global treaty of the United Nations, provides a global platform for the conservation and sustainable use of migratory animals and their habitats. The unique treaty brings governments and wildlife experts together to address the conservation needs of terrestrial, aquatic, and avian migratory species and their habitats around the world. Since the convention entry into force in 1979, its membership has grown steadily to include 133 parties from Africa, Central and South America, Asia, Europe, and Oceania. The Agreement on Conservation of African Eurasian Migratory Waterbirds, which is an intergovernmental treaty dedicated to the conservation of migratory waterbirds that migrate along the African Eurasian Flyway. The agreement covers 255 species of birds ecologically dependent on wetlands for at least part of their annual cycle. A total of 83 countries and the European Union have signed the Environmental Treaty, which has a geographic area covering 119 countries across Africa, Europe, the Middle East, Central Asia, Greenland, and the Canadian archipelago. Environment for the Americas connects people to nature and birds through research, education, and outreach. At the heart of our efforts lies in the coordination of World Migratory Bird Day across the Americas, an initiative that engages people of all ages in the protection of our shared migratory birds. This work has also led to the development of our various programs, especially EFTA offers internship programs which provide unique opportunities for the next generation of researchers, conservationists, and natural resource professionals. Through these programs, we are empowering young people to make a tangible difference for the environment. EFTA's efforts have also spurred international collaboration for bird conservation and facilitated changes across the borders and ensure a future where migratory birds are protected and celebrated. The East Asian Australasian Flyway Partnership, EAFP, is a flyway-wide framework to protect dialogue, cooperation, and collaboration between a range of stakeholders to conserve migratory waterbirds and their habitats. EAFP is also recognized as one of the Ramsar regional initiatives in 2005 and officially launched on 6 November 2006. Headlines around the world are sounding alarms. 35% of the world's wetlands critical to migratory birds have been lost in the last 50 years. Utah's Great Salt Lake the largest saltwater lake in the Western Hemisphere and used by more than 1 million shorebirds, is in danger of disappearing within 5 years. Across the Amur Halong Basin in Asia, climate change is amplifying the impact of habitat destruction by depleting natural water systems and depriving migratory birds of their vital breeding and stopover site. These sobering examples go hand in hand with recent reports that reveal 48% of the bird species worldwide are undergoing population declines. Another poignant example is that of Aral Sea shared by Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. Once the fourth largest lake in the world, it is widely regarded as one of the planet's worst water-related environmental disasters. Soviet-era irrigation projects almost completely dried up the lake, which led to the loss of livelihoods for fishermen and farmers and deterioration of public health due to toxic dust and reduced access to clean water. The impact has been severe for the communities around the lake, but also for migratory birds, which lost most important food source and a critically important stopover point on their journey. Another example is Sahel, a vast semi-arid region in Africa. Prolonged periods of drought, deforestation, and overgrazing in Sahel have led to the degradation of the soil and loss of vegetation, threatening the survival of both the local human population and the wildlife, including migratory birds. Like Chad, one of the largest water bodies in Africa in 1960, lost 90% of its area, depleting water resource for local communities and for many migratory birds. So, World Migratory Bird Day serves as an international call of action or call to action for the protection of migratory birds whose ranges often span multiple countries, are facing different threats worldwide. The 2 days of World Migratory Bird Days on 13th May and 14th October reflect the cyclic nature of bird migration, as well as the fact that they are varying peak migration periods in the northern and southern hemispheres. Today is also commemorated as International African Penguin Awareness Day. International African Penguin Awareness Day is observed every second Saturday of October and on October 14th this year. So, you are going to come down with the worst case of cuteness overload you have ever had in your life. The first thing that comes to mind when you hear the word penguin is ice cold weather. But that's not the case for the African penguin. In fact, There are certain species of penguins that live in warm climates. The Galapagos penguin, the northernmost of these species, live right on the equator. Penguins have a special place in our hearts thanks to the penguin-inspired cartoon characters we all grew up loving. Whether it be the stop-motion penguins or the dancing penguins, and even our dearest skipper and private trying to escape from New York Zoo. Penguins have never failed to garner our adoration. African penguins are a species of penguins found on the African continent. The African Penguin Awareness Day is celebrated each year with the aim of raising awareness around the plight of African penguins and their rapid decline in numbers. The number of African penguins have declined dramatically in the last century. The current estimates suggest a grim number with only 60,000 to 70,000 individual birds left in the wild. Scientists estimate that these birds will become extinct in the wild within the next 15 to 20 years, hardly in 1 to 2 decades. So the availability of sufficient food source is one of the biggest threats these birds face at the moment. The African penguin relies heavily on small fish, such as anchovies and sardines, which are in short supply due to overfishing, as well as changes in the marine ecosystem caused by climate change. The adult penguins have to swim further and further away from their nesting grounds to find food, which is potentially dangerous for the offspring as well as the adult birds. Other factors such as pollution, habitat loss, predation by marine and terrestrial animals, disease and other human interventions are also contributing to the continued decline in penguin numbers. International African Penguin Awareness Day is our choice to help these majestic birds once again become a thriving part of the ecosystem. So they continue to preserve the special place they have in our hearts for many years to come. Roughly 4 million African penguins existed at the beginning of the 19th century. Out of 1.5 million African penguins estimated in 1910, only about 10% remain at the end of 20th century, the Great Decline. The total penguin population is estimated at 55,000 in 2010, and then 2019, the total breeding population across South Africa and Namibia falls to a historic low of about 20,850 pairs. And with the last ones left, the average lifespan of an African penguin is about 10 to 27 years in the wild, and they can live up to 30 years in captivity. Some penguin species mate for life. Gentoo, rockhoppers, and chinstrap species are monogamous. Ideally, females find their old mates within a few minutes of arriving at the colony each season. Non-breeding African penguins cope with the heat by spending most of the day at sea, regularly swimming or loafing on the beach in groups. Penguins that are out in the open during the day usually turn their backs to the sun so that their feet, flippers, and face are shaded. Shop responsibly, recycle use, and if possible, avoid using plastic as much as possible. One must obey the rules when visiting local penguin colonies. You must not try to get very close to the penguins, even if the cuteness is hard to resist. Maintain at least 3 meters between you and the birds. No one likes rude guests. Be a good citizen of this planet and contribute as much as you can. Educate yourself and others about be a good citizen of this planet and contribute as much as you can. Educate yourself and others around you about the plight of African penguins and do your part in ensuring the survival of these marvelous birds. A group of penguins is called a raft. Penguins spend up to 80% of their lives out at sea. They swallow fish with the help of fleshy spines inside their mouths, as penguins don't have teeth. Penguin suits act as camouflage. Their black backs, white front helps disguise them from predators. Penguins are waterproof. Oil produced by the preen gland insulates their bodies and improves hydrodynamics. Male penguins gift rocks. Many male penguins give rocks to female penguins to woo them. Females use rocks to build a nest. Penguins are important for the environment as they are an integral part of our ecosystem. Penguins' feces help fertilize the landscape with nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and organic carbon. They are an important part of the food chain, acting as prey to predators like leopards, seals, orcas, and seabirds in colder regions, and pumas, mongooses, and crabs in warmer climates. Penguins are amazing and super swimmers with speeds reaching over 10 miles per hour. They can jump Penguins are smart. Penguins don't just look sharp, but are extremely intelligent creatures. They are highly capable creatures that are known to be self-aware. They use tools and communicate with each other and have been observed to form intricate communities and hierarchies in groups. Today is also commemorated as Mahalaya, which is known as Sarvapitra Amavasya, which is celebrated on October 14 this year and marks the end of Pitru Paksha. So which is a religiously significant day for specifically Hindu devotees and for various other religions across the world. Many people remember their ancestors and make tarpan or shraddha offerings to make their souls happy in the afterlife. It also serves as a reminder to the faithful of how Many people remember their ancestors and make tarpan or shraddha offerings to make their souls happy in the afterlife. It also serves as a reminder to the faithful of how much has changed and how no matter where you live or how far away you are from home, the notes of Mahalaya will always ring in your ears. So come celebrate this day of hope and happiness with all of us. According to Hindu calendar, devotees of Ma Durga celebrates Mahalaya a week before Durga Puja. Mahalaya is observed on the last day of Pitru Paksha. According to Hindu mythology, Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara created goddess Durga on this day to defeat the demon king Mahishasura. As a result, devotees have marked this day as the arrival of goddess Durga from Kailash Parvat with her divine So devotees believe that the demon king Mahishasura was given the blessings that no god or human would ever kill him. After receiving the blessings, Mahishasura attacked the Devatas and they were forced to flee Devlok after losing the war. All the Devatas prayed to Adishakti along with Lord Vishnu to save them from Mahishasura's wrath. It is believed that a divine light emerged from the bodies of all Devatas and took the form of goddess Durga. Ma Durga fought Mahishasura for 9 days before killing him on the 10th day. Ma Durga is revered as the goddess of power, and Durga Puja is widely celebrated across the country. Devotees pray to the goddess, who is said to visit earth to bless her people for 10 days straight. An auspicious puja is performed to honor the vulnerable. Devotees rise early in the morning to worship the goddess by singing Chandipat and listening to religious mantras. On Mahalaya Amavasya, devotees bid farewell to their ancestors, and in the evening they perform Durga Puja for goddess, who steps on earth to bless the devotees. This festival is also celebrated with great zeal and devotion in West Bengal, Odisha, Karnataka, and Tripura, and many parts of the world. Historical records also says which were discovered detailing how royalty and wealthy families sponsored Durga Puja during public celebrations. Ram Prasad Chanda publishes a report detailing how Durga was evolved in the Indian subcontinent in 1960. For Durga Puja celebrations, 97 pandals in Cuttack bedeck respective sculpture idols with silver jewelry in 2019. So food offerings for the ancestors are usually prepared in silver or copper vessels or earthen pot or served on a banana leaf or in the cups made of dried leaves. Typically, dishes are kheer, lapsi, rice, dal, spring bean, or vegetables and others like yellow gourd and so on. So what should be done on Mahalaya Amavasya? Ancestors or Pitras are all worshipped with the dhoop, diya and flowers. Devotees also offer a mixture of water. On Mahalaya Amavasya, ancestors or Pitras are worshipped with dhoop, diya and flowers. Devotees also offer a mixture of water and barley to the forefathers to appease them, or water and rice flour. Wear a sacred thread on the right shoulder and splint is given away as a donation. According to Garuda Purana and Agni Purana, this day is not only to pay respects to our ancestors, but also prevents Mahalaya is a massive annual celebration in which many people gather to commemorate the goddess Durga. This means that there are many ways for you to get involved. You can help prepare some of the various foods that will be served. Every year, sculptors pay homage to the Durga and Mahalaya by creating beautiful ice sculptures to sell and celebrate the special occasion. On this day, you can create your own versions of Durga's ice using clay or on this day, you can create your own version of Durga's ice using clay or another material of your choice. Once you are done, decorate your home in time for the festival. Listening to traditional songs and listening to traditional hymns and songs and stories to commemorate the tale of Ma Durga and Mahishasura is a great way to have an authentic Mahalaya celebrations. Many rescues are available online. the soul can endure physical challenges. As we believe that the soul can endure various physical challenges in the body, and our previous lives have contributed to the people in as we are today. There are three major Trimurti gods: Lord Brahma, creator; Lord Vishnu, preserver; and Lord Shiva, destroyer, all the three magic Trimurti gods of Hinduism. Devotees believe souls reincarnate in a cycle of rebirth, and rebirth is fundamental to the faith. Devotees believe that the soul can endure various physical challenges in the body, and our previous lives have contributed to the people we are today. Creation concepts including yoga, Ayurveda, astrology, Vastu, Jyotish, Yagna, Puja, Tantra, Vedanta, Karma is a lifestyle. All living things have a soul or Atman, which is defined as constant truth, consciousness, and happiness. That's why Hindus are ever truthful and happy. Many countries around the world value history and religion as something to be remembered and celebrated, as well as something that influenced the creation of their society. Therefore, Indians find joy in celebration of Mahalaya every year. Every year, these Mahalaya celebrations usher in new decades. These people take part and observe the festivities, become enlightened and choose to follow religious path. We love how a national celebration can inspire devotion and purpose. Through festivities that involve entire cities and regions, a very blessed spirit of togetherness and community is celebrated. People value community, especially in honoring, preserving religion and tradition in a world where society is easily changed or tarnished. Today is also commemorated as National Chess Day in US. The royal game has been played for centuries, which has been originated from India. And despite its limited pieces and simple layout, chess is a complex art that has captivated players and viewers alike. Former President Gerald Ford said it best: for both professionals and amateurs, chess is a game that sharpens the mind, tests human faculties, and encourages healthy competition. It has captivated the attention of players and spectators worldwide and will continue to do so as long as the competition and excellence challenge mankind. Chess is a two-player board game in which each player formulates a strategy and the defense to capture the king. Since the early crusades, chess has been enjoyed by millions of peoples in various parts of the world. The earliest versions of the game differ, but the 15th century onwards, the design became standardized. The modern chess that we know today is adapted from old Indian games. Chess has had a significant impact on social development, highlighted particularly in Benjamin Franklin's famous essay titled The Morale of Chess. Franklin certainly elevated the status of American chess, but it is Paul Morphy who is considered the first American chess legend. Morphy is known as the best chess player of his time, and in 1857 was the first American to beat the European chess player of the time, Adolf Anderssen. In 1976, President Gerald Ford declared October 9th as the National Chess Day. He considered chess as a king's game and was an avid follower. This annual celebration has taken place on the second Saturday of October since 1979. With millions of beginners and experts delving into the unique world of chess, interest in games surged following the release of Netflix miniseries, The Queen's Gambit, in 2020. Whether you are a pro or a rookie, pull out the chessboard and make your move. Enjoy a few moves with friends, neighbors, or family. Chess has been focal subject in many movies and TV shows. We recommend Magnus, Pawn Sacrifice, and Queen to Play, and so on. Host a tournament, arrange a chess tournament for your friends and family. Raise the skates and have a prize for the Grandmaster. The queen was once the weakest piece. The modern call actually romanticizes the game in which the old weak vizier transformed into all-powerful queen. The 9 by 9 variant, this version of chess has evolved from the standard classical chess in which ninth piece and additional pawn are introduced. A knight has many moves. Over 122 million moves make up the entire labyrinth of a knight's brain. The longest game of chess ever was between Nikolic and Arsovic in Belgrade 1989. It lasted 269 moves and ended in a draw. In November 1988, the supercomputer Deep Thought became the first ever computer to be an international grandmaster when it beat Bent Larsen. Chess is unparalleled. Using a simple checkered layout and set pieces to move, chess is an ancient game that is popular than ever today. This dynamic game has endless possibilities and is an art in itself. Chess plays an important role in connecting different people of different races, cultures, classes, and societies. There is no discrimination in chess, and anyone can make move to capture the king. Playing chess hones an individual strategy, making skills and develop an analytical mind. Chess offers insight into the psyche of players, adding to the beauty of the game. Today is also commemorated as National Costume Swap Day in the US. Every second Saturday in October is National Costume Swap Day, which falls on October 14th. And we are going to make sure that your favorite character comes to life. Costumes have been around for many years. They acted as cultural image of people from different parts of the world. The term was also used to describe typical appropriate clothing for certain activities such as swimming costume, riding costume, and evening costume. With Halloween around the corner, it's time to start thinking about pulling together your costumes. We all love to dress up in our favorite costumes, even like comic icon and cosplay trends prove that to be true. The idea of dressing up as your favorite superhero or villain, or even your favorite character from a movie or a book excites us as it gives a chance to play out our fantasies. The National Costume Swap Day is a perfect answer to our praise. However exciting the idea may be, like everything else on this planet, these costumes come at a price. Living out these fantasies can burn a hole in your pocket, not to mention the wastage of resources. To counter this problem in 2012, Lynn Caldwell and her daughter, Corey Caldwell, Lipson of Green Halloween, created Costume Swap Day as part of their Green Halloween movement. This was an effort to promote an economical and ecological way to dress for the Halloween. The swaps can be costumes that are home-stitched, store-bought, or patched together. Anything goes. The objective is to save more and waste less. It's not just an effort to save on costumes for trick-or-treating. Even theater troupes can join in the swaps just before the fall of drama season begins. This day presents an amazing opportunity to live out our fantasies without spending any big bucks. Costume swapping day comes with just a few weeks before Halloween, which is a great way to start the holidays. So gather with family, colleagues, or neighbors and spread some joy around while keeping your savings intact. A dress is an item of clothing that covers the upper part of the body, includes a skirt below the waist, and while a costume is a style of dress, including garments, hairstyle, and accessories, especially a characteristic of a particular country, period, or people. The costume plot is a list that shows what character is wearing and their overall movement as appear in each scene throughout the play. This helps track the specific costume needs of every character. The difference between sprite and costume. Costumes are the network associated with a sprite. Since sprites are things that move, they usually have multiple costumes. Backdrops are the artwork for the stage. The stage doesn't move but can have multiple backdrops. As the name suggests, the best thing to do on National Costume Swapping Day is to swap your costume, swap with your neighbors, family, or friends. Start early to get your hands on the best ones. Take the initiative, organize a costume swap party, invite all your friends and families, neighbors and colleagues. Start with the holiday celebrations a little early. After all, holidays gives you a good reason to celebrate. Spread the word, get more people to join the initiative. Encourage people around you to make their holidays more economical and eco-friendly. Recycle and reuse is a better solution than the costumes ending up in a landfill. Today is also commemorated as National Desert Day in US. The popular French saying holds true especially on October 14th, National Desert Day. Calories don't count today, so make sure you to pick up a box of donuts you have been thinking. Cash in Cole's kale salad points and rewards yourself with the warm, sugary glaze you have earned. So, the term desert originates from the French word desservir, which translates to the action to clear the table. This is because dessert is served after a main meal's dishes have been cleared. However, sweetness of the dessert have existed long before there was a proper title for it. As an act of worship, ancient civilizations would offer dried fruits and honey to their gods. In ancient Greece, a special sweet bread was made with nuts and honey to an almost cake-like dish called plakos. And it is ancient Greeks may have also invented pie, as Aristophanes mentions. Today is also commemorated as National I Love You Day in US. Unlike Valentine's Day, it extends beyond just couples. It's a day to appreciate our families and friends as well as anyone we hold dear. Ironically, this non-romantic occasion started by promoting a romantic film on October 14, 2015. The director of Filipino romantic drama film posed the hashtag "Everyday I Love You," causing local Those in charge of the marketing campaign rode the wave, launching the hashtag on Twitter and appealing for wider spread support, which eventually inspired another hashtag, National I Love You Day. The new hashtag quickly became a top trend on the Philippines Twitter. The film did not achieve stardom in US, but the hashtag skyrocketed in popularity due to the name alone. These tweets spread through 62 nations and muster the courage to convey your feelings to your parents, siblings, friends, or spouse. It can be through a poem, card, gift, simple text, or a phone call. Convey your love and gratitude. Bring back your happy memories with them on social media. It's a way to look out. Quality time with your loved ones is crucial. Go on a nice outing or a vacation. If you can't do anything, fancy just meeting up is enough. It's sure to brighten your mood and bring you joy. Love necessitates that you reveal yourself. The vulnerability that always seems to accompany love is what makes it so difficult and often terrible. Your quest for the true love and unconditional love begins with a simple prayer. Unconditional love, this type of fills your existence. Unconditional love, the type that fills your existence with purpose and significance, is difficult to discover in another human because we all are too selfish and mesmerized. Only unconditional adoration can be considered as true love. Affection based on person's contingent characteristics, on the other hand, is conditional, and as a result, it's not true love. Today is also commemorated as National Motorcycle Ride Day in US. The first motorcycle, which was built in 1885 in Germany and has been dominating the roads ever since. Their popularity has sought brought various motorcycle types, the major ones being street, off-road, and dual purpose. These are further divided into many subtypes. These subtypes are often having a racing counterpart. For many years, motorcycle is more than a means of transportation. It is an experience, a feeling with first motorcycle came into existence in 1885 when Gottlieb Daimler and Wilhelm Maybach, two German inventors, built an internal combustion gasoline-fueled motorcycle. It was named Daimler Reitwagen, riding wagon, the first of the modern motorcycles that we all know today. The invention inspired many others, and others began making their versions of the self-propelled bicycle. In 1894, Hildebrand and Wolf Muller became the first series production motorcycle. Soon, other big companies joined the bandwagon, such as English Royal Enfield, Triumph, American Harley Davidson, Indian Motorcycle Manufacturing Company. Motorcycle production escalated during the First World War to improve communication systems with frontline troops. Motorcycles replaced messengers on horses with dispatch riders who carried messages, conducted reconnaissance activities, and acted as a military police. After Second World War, the motor Today is also commemorated as Universal Music Day. As we are getting ready to treat our senses to an acoustic journey, music have been around since the beginning of mankind, evolving into different forms with passage of time. It comes in many genres such as classic, rock, country, and can be further divided into subgenres such as country, pop, alternative rock, etc. Music is one of the most creative and universal ways to express ideas, emotions, and opinions, making it an integral part of every culture around the world. It can be played, sung, and most importantly, heard, a process by which most of the ordinary folk can truly appreciate music. Music makes life more meaningful, breaking all barriers of cultural, religious, and social distinction, and uniting us like the perfect playlist of rhythmic excellence. The origin of music have been a subject of long-standing debate. The origin of music has often been related to the origin of language. One of the earliest forms of music was drum-based and percussion instruments fashioned from rocks and sticks. By 4000 BC, the Egyptians created harps and flutes. With further advancements, the trumpet came into existence in Denmark around 2500 BC. Greece laid the foundations of early classical music, leading to the emergence of Aristotle's music theory. Since the music became the way of life in many cultures, playing important roles in religious and social activities ranging from amateur rock bands to temple choirs or even the occasional karaoke night, music has become ubiquitous in every aspect of our lives. The second Saturday of October is when we all come together and appreciate, but most importantly, enjoy the marvelous gift to humanity. Today is also commemorated as World Hospice and Palliative Care Day in US, with the goal of improving the quality of life for people affected by serious health problems. Those have life-limiting illness have the right to be cared in the way that best suits their needs, and holiday emphasizes that. It draws attention to the belief in a myriad of ways, one of which is that every second year, a wave of concerts known as Voices for Hospices takes place to entertain and spread joy. It was originally created in 1989 by Sheila Hutton in order to raise funds. It was originally created by 1989 by Sheila Hutton in order to raise funds and public awareness of the Princess Alice Hospice initiative. Started as a single concept titled Come and Sing, and it grew to become a worldwide event. Throughout time, people have suffered life-limiting illness, but there wasn't always a system in place to make sure that their last days were comfortable. In the 19th century, the action of hospice care was taken on primarily by women. They were religious and philanthropic volunteers that serviced the sick across the countries and continents without knowledge of each other. The attention hospice care would achieve the next century. By the 20th century, more hospitals and hospice care were established, and they became so vital that many facilities received more beds and more people joined to help the cause. The Sisters of Charity was an organization in Ireland that helped the impoverished population of Dublin in the 19th century and by 20th. They have developed other facilities across the globe, which was critical in the history of palliative care. In the 19th century, the action of hospice care was taken primarily by women. They were religious and philanthropic volunteers that serviced the sickness around the countries and continents without knowledge of each other. Each year, has a different theme for the event relating to hospice and palliative care. This year themes is Leave No One Behind, equity in access to palliative care. Palliative care providers across the globe are asked to lead and participate in palliative care awareness raising events. Palliative care is not part of universal health coverage or national health systems. WHPCD shines a light on the inequity in access to palliative care across the globe. Palliative care is more than end-of-life care. It is care to help people live well in time that they have left. Terminal illness is a hard issue to face for patients and loved ones alike. They need all support they can get to let them know that they are not alone in this. By joining the community, you can help show that it is difficult time. You can have times of positivity to the lives of the people who truly need it. Showing support for the caregivers, caretakers who devote for their time and energy to those life-limiting illness, help them out considerably. Jobs like these are often a calling, and having a support of people who care helps them to do their job better. The more advocacy there is for hospice and palliative care, the more they can apply it to their process, will make things better for the patients they care for. When more money is donated to the cause, everyone benefits from it. With more resources, they are able to offer the best service to their patients. It provides them with flexibility for resource allocation and ensures that the safety of those with terminal illness is protected to the best of their ability. Today is also commemorated as World Standards Day, which is celebrated on October 14th every year. Raises awareness about the need for global standardization of products and its importance to the world economy. On this day, members of the International Electrotechnical Commission, IEC, the International Telecommunication Union, ITU, and the International Standards Organization pay tribute to the concerted efforts of thousands of experts around the globe who formulate the voluntary technical agreement, an agreement among countries, institutes, and people as to what a product or a process is and what it should look like and what it should do or accomplish, published as the international standards. The history of World Standard Day goes back to 1946 meeting in London, which birthed the creation of International Organization for Standardization. In the following years, on October 14th each year, the members of IEC, ISO, ITU, and other international standardization organizations and people all around the world celebrate the collaborative efforts of experts, volunteers, and indeed all who engage in standardization activities worldwide by drawing people's attention to the importance of written standards on the global economy. As the world continues to experience rapid globalization, where markets in different corners are increasingly becoming open, national boundaries are disappearing, and the new challenges are emerging as technical standard applicable to all nations and people has become pertinent. In the US, World Standards Day is celebrated by standardization community in Washington, D.C., where an exhibition event is held with a reception and a dinner gala. In other parts of the world, events are also held in respect of World Standards Day, including educational seminars and conferences, and the usual World Standard Cooperation Contest held each year to celebrate the day. According to the ISO, which merely acts as a conductor, is an orchestra consisting of delegates from its member states. The process of adopting a proposal, part of the international standard, begins from the development of a draft that meets a certain market need in specific area. Once developed, members deliberate and then cast votes on the proposal. This process could take up about 3 years. The criteria proposes ensures that materials, products, process, services, systems, or persons are fit for their intended purpose. ISO has published more than 22,700 standards for business. Quality Management System, QMS, is a standardized system that documents process, procedures, and responsibilities for achieving quality policies and objectives. Reflect on how standards help. Think about how different international standards have improved your life. Most of the standards taken for granted. Even the most of our everyday experiences wouldn't be protected without them. Read out how international standards for products and services affect your life. Within standards organization, thousands of brilliant minds and stunning personalities work tirelessly to enact, revise, and evolve policies. Today is also commemorated as Sherlock Holmes Weekend, starting from today till 16. Sherlock Holmes Weekend promises visitors murder party style weekend of the intrigue, mystery solving, and live performances. That's not all. Visitors to this event get to see an original Sherlock Holmes story written by different writers, played out in front of them. Sponsored by the Mid-Atlantic Center for Arts and Humanities, the biannual event delights visitors and locals alike from Friday through Saturday. Today is also commemorated as National Baking Week from October 14 to 20, starting from today, initiated by Pyrex UK and with other baking companies to inspire people of all abilities to try hard at baking at home. Baking isn't just a piece of cake. National Baking Week has been cheered alongside with popular TV show, The Great British Bake Off, giving everyone a week of tasty recipes and good television. People celebrate the holiday. Today we are also commemorating Be Bald and Be Free Day in US. And we are here to show how you celebrate the day in style. There are millions of people who are affected by baldness, either due to natural causes or medical treatments, or which is why this day is dedicated to the bald and beautiful. Shaving heads and beards began a lot earlier than one might think. The early men from the Stone Age used sharpened clamsels and tweezers to shave or pluck out hair. In the ancient Rome and Egypt, shaving heads was common amongst the priests and also common folk due to extremely hot climates. Egyptians are said to have developed shaving tools made of gold and copper. In late 1950s, shaved heads started becoming a trend. Bald men were seen as more viril, confident, tough, and disciplined. Many actors, politicians, musicians, and sports stars adopted the bald look. In the 1990s, the shaved head style was at its peak, with people like Michael Jordan, Evander Holyfield, and Bruce Willis further popularized the trend. Since people battling cancer lose their hair due to radiation and chemotherapy, people began shaving their heads either as a way to show support for the people battling cancer or for fundraisers. Alopecia areata or areata, simply known as a male pattern baldness, causes a receding hairline in men and irreversible baldness. It can cause body dysmorphia and poor self-image among men. To encourage men and to boost their self-esteem, many campaigns were organized with their primary motto being to show men that baldness was nothing they should be ashamed of, and in fact, men with shaved heads look more attractive and confident. One of these campaigns was Be Bald and Be Free Day, which was started by the founders of Wellcat Herbs, Thomas Roy and Ruth Roy. Though it is not known, it was encouraged a lot of men and women to shave their heads and be proud of their looks. Today is also commemorated as Bookshop Day in UK. October is a good time for new books to come and start of important falling season. Bookshop owners are encouraged to hold parties, events, and book singings in their stores. Every year, more than 1,000 bookshops across the country participate in the Bookshop Day. They hold special events, make unique window displays, and so on. It's part of the Books Are My Bag campaign, which is run by the Booksellers Association. Today is also commemorated as the Day of the Defender in Ukraine. It is also replaced by Defender of the Fatherland on February 23rd, which was originated in the Soviet Union, which honors the rich traditions of the Ukrainian people. It honors the bravery and heroism of those who defended Ukrainian independence, territorial integrity, military traditions, and victories of the Ukrainian people. October 14 is also anniversary of the formation of the Ukrainian Insurgent Army and the Day of the Ukrainian Cossacks. Today is also commemorated as I Love Yarn Day. We celebrate the talented do-it-yourself yarn crafters, crocheters, and knitters who create incredible things from yarn, from scarves to art of blankets. On I Love Yarn Day, yarn crafters around the world share love of yarn as well as some of their favorite creations. Yarn crafters prove to us every day that the only limit to what you can create is your imagination and the amount of yarn you have left. I Love Yarn Day is a day to encourage others to share their love of yarn and raise awareness about their fiber crafts. I Love Yarn Day was created in 2011 by the Craft Yarn Council, a non-profit organization and collective of top yarn companies and professionals. The Craft Yarn Council realized a need to create a day for fiber artists, yarn companies, and retailers alike to focus on yarn publicity. The day was created to bring yarn lovers together to celebrate their common love of yarn, raise awareness of their fiber crafts, and encourage enthusiasts to share their love with people within and outside the yarn community. Yarn is made from a mixture of about 15 different types of fibers from two categories of fibers, natural and synthetic. Today, thousands of people all over the world use yarn for various crafty creations through different methods. It is also environment friendly and eco-friendly if natural inputs are used for preparing yarn. And finally, the last day of the commemoration. Today is also start of the 9-day Navaratri festival and also the flower or floral festival of Telangana, Batkama starting day, which is a 9-day festival celebrated in the Indian state of Telangana and parts of Andhra Pradesh, usually taking place between September and October, referred to as Festival of Light. It is a celebration that honors Goddess Parvati for blessing the year's crop harvest and fortune she has brought in the year. Batkama's main festivities include the creation of flower stacks by the women of Telangana, which are then arranged into the shape of a temple's gopura as a symbol of their gratitude. Batkama is a vibrant color festival celebrated primarily in the Indian state of Telangana that celebrates the beginning of the Sharad season or autumn. The festival marks the end of the monsoon season and is held to express gratitude to the goddess Parvati for her blessings on season's harvest. It generally lasts for 9 days in tandem with the post-monsoon Durga Navaratri festival. The festival itself has since become The festival itself has become a part of the state's cultural identity. The first day of the Batkama, known as Engili Pula Batkama, is dedicated to the preparation of all offerings to be made during the festival. These items include sesame seeds, rice flour, and nukalu rice. On this day, Telugu women clean the courtyards in preparation for the festival, which includes the drawing of rangoli on the ground. However, the main draw of Batkama is intricately arranged flower stacks that are created in the spirit of the festival. These stacks, referred to as Batkama, are made of gathered local wildflowers and arranged in the shape of a temple's gopura. The women of Telangana usually create several stacks for the festival, resulting in a colorful geometric display. Flowers are an important part of the festival as their blooming during the monsoon season symbolizes the beginning of a new dawn. The Batkama stacks are considered to be state's signature folk art. On a brass plate, flowers of different colors are carefully arranged in circular rows on the top of one another. The Batkama stacks are considered to be state's signature folk art. On a brass plate of flowers of different colors are carefully arranged in circular rows on top of one another. As the stack gradually reaches its intended size, the vibrant displays are then placed in front of the family goddess tribute before being carried on the river on the final day to be soaked in water. The observer's Batkama is seen as a celebration of their relationship with the earth and its guardian spirits. Batkama generally means Mother Goddess comes alive. The festival itself is celebrated at the end of monsoon season, and the overall point of the celebrations is to pay tribute to the abundance of nature and all it offers to human life. Commonly used flowers include celosia, cell, marigold, lotus, curbita, and cucumis. Some of the flowers chosen hold water purification, properties which help symbolize the festival's general theme of renewal. Each day in the 9th day Batkama festival has a name of its own, with their own meanings. The 9 days respectively are known to Engilipula Batkama, Atukula Batkama, Muddapappu Batkama, Nanabiyam Batkama, Atla Batkama, Aligina Batkama, Vepakayala Batkama, Vennamuddila Batkama, and Saddula Batkama. So 9 days, 9 Batkamas are prepared. During the Batkama festival, female observers dress up in traditional colorful saris and combine them with colorful accessories. Why not dress in your colorful traditional best and get into the spirit? After all, Batkama is a celebration defined by its colorful vibrancy. The Batkama stacks are intricate and symbolic works of art and design. You can try making your own Batkama stacks yourself by gathering the relevant flowers or similar ones available to you locally. Creating these works requires great patience and a careful eye for organization. It can also help elevate your flower arranging skills too. It wouldn't be a festival without food. Batkama has its own range of festive snacks and dishes that are consumed during festival. Why not try and make some delectable sweet pastry symbol of the festival? Can guarantee it will satisfy any sweet tooth. Hyderabad is the capital of both Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. The Godavari River, which runs through Telangana, is considered to be the Ganges of the south due to its holiness. Telangana served as the ruling center of several prominent ancient Indian dynasties such as Mauryan Empire, Satavahanas, Chalukyas, and the Kakatiya. The Hussain Sagar Lake in Hyderabad is famous for being heart-shaped. At 43,273 square miles, Telangana is big enough to be named the 33rd largest country. Batkama is a celebration of flowers and their vibrancy, symbolism, and role in defining how the seasons change. Thus, the festival acts as a way to pay tribute to these colorful gifts of nature and how they make us feel. Batkama is a harvest festival that serves as a time to express gratitude to the earth for providing us with the necessities of life. Nature is a powerful force that must always be respected for what it provides. Batkama is one of the many rituals that emphasize the diversity and vibrancy of Indian culture. Indian celebrations are globally known for their colorful nature, spiritual connections, and community appreciation. The smallest aspects of nature and spiritual world are celebrated in India, which helps build a culture that respects. So we wish you all happy Batkama festival and also happy Devi Navaratri. And with this, we shall conclude for this day's celebrations and commemorations. Thank you everyone for joining us on this wonderful day. Keep joining us daily. Certificates, when issued, will be intimated to you all and will be issued all at once. Thank you everyone for joining us. Take care. Good night. See you all tomorrow at the same time.